Andy Reid said, I'm seeing things I've never seen before. AJ saying, I'm seeing things I've never seen before. And that is very fair because I think the Chiefs have looked like a team that we haven't seen before since this new Chiefs has been created. This is via the Kansas City Star at KC Star. Do we have independent newspaper still, or are they all owned by The Athletic?
I think
they're still.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Kansas City Star still doing it.
Yeah.
Indy Star still doing it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Shout out to the Indy Star still doing it. Shout out to the Star. I didn't know that either, by the way. I did not know that. Still doing it.
I think so, yeah.
Let's go. All right, congrats to the Stars. Mellinger is saying, I'm seeing things that I haven't seen before, Chiefs coach Andy Reid said after. Does he sound bewildered? He is, and so are we. Do you think maybe, because Patrick Mahomes said that they're seeing coverages they've never seen before. Nobody's ever seen before. He said this a couple weeks ago. And then now he said anytime you got to build something great, you got to go through some of these types of things. To, kind of a house is built much better on stone than it is on sand, So there's some things that have to harden you and make the foundation, and they have to have some tough times after having an incredible start to this entire thing. Do you think Andy Reid is also confused about what teams are doing to the Chiefs? Do you think that is what he's chatting about, or do you think he's strictly talking about how his Chiefs are performing?
I took it out the first time I saw this as like he's bewildered by things that his own team is doing at times that they haven't done in the past. That's what I took it as, not like, hey, I'm super confused at what these guys are throwing at me. I've only been coaching for 45 years. I don't know what they're doing. I didn't take it as that.
Yeah, me neither, by the way. But it is worthy of a conversation because whose fault is it, right? The defense that is on that team has 32nd, 31st, 32nd, 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 31st in rankings and a lot of stats that I think mean something at this point. There are some stats I think that don't mean anything that maybe have a little bit more weight in conversation than they should. But the Chiefs being 32nd in turnovers, points allowed, yards per play allowed, first downs allowed, and being 31st in pass yards allowed, receiving yards allowed, rush yards allowed. Jeez. I mean, it is a bad looking operation over there. Is that under Andy Reid, or is Andy Reid just associated with the offense? Is he talking about the defense there as well? I mean, what is Andy Reid completely bewildered by? And is he just as lost as the rest of us who are massive fans of this football team that has been very impressive to watch?
That's got to be the most frustrating part, being a head coach like Andy Reid. You've seen it all, and you don't really know exactly what the answer is to get your guys to execute, to complete some easy balls, get your stud quarterback feeling good about it again and protecting him. I don't know. That's why the coaches get paid good money, but it also is setting up one of the great stories, though, for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
They figure this thing out, and they go on a run when it actually matters. This will be like, oh, man, remember when everyone thought the Chiefs were garbage when they wrote them off and they said everyone's done and they're washed, and they can't do it anymore? Like, this will just be part of the story.
Oh, it would be so beautiful. And maybe it is something that they need. And, Patrick Mahomes alluded to that. And they're all kind of openly chatting about the sucking. You know what I mean? They're all they've all admitted, like, hey, this is not what we want to do. This is not how we should be doing it. They've all kind of gotten to the point, it seems like, which I don't want to say is rock bottom, but they've reached a point where they're like, okay, we have to learn from this. This has to grow us. And if they have any good culture, good locker room, they go on a run here. And if they do, it'll be an incredible storybook ending. And remember, this team's dynasty was founded whenever they were down and out. Remember that playoff run when they were down 20, down 10, down 14? The reason why they became beloved by everybody is because they were able to flip a switch, come back, and win. It was like, oh, these underdogs, these come from behind guys are kind of taken over everything. So maybe it will. Maybe that is in their, genetic makeup over there for that team as well, with how they've come to be who they are. But there is shit happening where you see Patrick Mahomes miss a throw, and it's like, what? This isn't. What's going on here? Like a throw that he would never miss. Then they're rushing four. They're kind of sitting everybody back. What the Steelers did to Josh Allen, what maybe the Bucks did to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, being able to get pressure, having Patrick on the move, him missing the throws he normally makes. There's just a couple things that if they can figure out, they can get back on track. You would think. Right? You would think they'd be able to get back on track.
I mean, they definitely have the talent to get back on track. We know that. And Peyton and Eli talked about it last night. Remember, Peyton's asking Tom, what do you like, zone or man or whatever? And he said, hey, match up with our guys, one-on-one. That's good. Like, yeah, we love when you do that. Don't worry. Or we don't have any issue with that. But it's the same thing I think teams are trying to do to the Chiefs a little bit. If you can't run, if you can't pound the ball on them and threaten them, they can sit back in that zone and hope that you just get greedy and that you're not going to sit there and take the easy completion all day long, and eventually you're going to try to go over the top, and that's when you capitalize.
Zito said there's a follow-up quote from Andy Reid in my ear. I've seen our boys do it and do the pieces. We just don't do it now, Reid admitted during his opening speech on Sunday, October 24th. We didn't do it offensively. We didn't finish it. Defensively, we really have to get both sides to play well. We have to eliminate the fluctuations and penalties. These are things that weren't common with us. I see things that I've never seen before. Guys I saw performing didn't do certain things. We're right there to do the right thing and make a difference, and it's going the other way. We have to fix that. Andy Reid also noted that out of the Kansas City Star article from Mellinger, I believe, at Mellinger, Mellinger. Yeah. All right. Will they be able to get back on track? I have no idea. Because when the ball's bouncing your way, it's great. Once it starts bouncing the other way, how do you get it to turn back in your favor? How do you get Big Mo to go back in your favor? Because there's always one or two plays in every game that potentially turn an entire game around. And everybody has a friend potentially that in games, there's always a lucky bounce or a lucky break or they get good cards. And it seems to happen to that person more often than it happens to other people. Once that person loses it, how do they get it back? Or is it just something that is, just a little bit of a minor setback before a major comeback? I'm not 100% sure. It's a fascinating situation.
And like Mahomes fumbling when he's scrambling, Tyreek Hill dropping, like passes going right through his hands and getting picked off. Like there are so many things that they haven't really done in the past. And every week it's like the Chiefs are going to figure it out. The Chiefs are going to figure it out. And then all this shit just continues to happen. It's almost like the bounces just aren't going their way and they might never not again.
In years past when Patrick, they might.
Absolutely.
They might.
More likely than not.
Yeah, let's assume it will. But in years past, those fumbles bounce right back.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they bounce right back, or they hit perfectly that it bounces up. And there's a throw that instead of slipping out of Patrick Mahomes' hands and going to the other team where he just bats it basically, that thing somehow goes over the person's head and is a completion for 35 yards to Tyreek. Like those are the things that were happening. Those magical, how is this happening moments were going on the first couple years. Now they're facing a little bit of reality, a little bit of a downturn. How will they be able to create their own luck, create their own fortune, and get back to it? And it's always your technique. Get back to your fundamentals. Technique, you do the right thing, everything else will fall into place, and that's what they need to do, AJ.
Yeah, it only takes one big win against a team, against a good team, I think, to get them back on track. And a lot of times if you're down early and your things aren't going well too, everybody starts to press to try to make the plays you feel like you need to happen instead of just having fun, being loose, and doing your job. So, yeah, I don't know when they'll figure it out, but they need to figure it out pretty quickly if they want to salvage this season.
They got a great opportunity this weekend.
Yeah.
They got the Giants. All right, and they're 10-point favorites. So I don't think anybody on earth will be betting on them minus 10. Maybe.
No X factor.
I might too. If we're just picking, like we do against the spread every single, cool. But when it comes time to actually go into your app and put real money down, I don't know how many people are going to. That's probably a game a lot of people are just going to stay away from. That's probably going to be
I would do it. I would do it right now. Giants minus 10, right? Is that what it is?
Giants plus 10.
I mean, that's yeah. I'd take the Chiefs minus 10.
All right, me too. But you're not putting any actual money down.
No, but if I was a betting man, as they say, I would put a little bit down.
Okay, but also as betting people, you and I, you know what I mean, and everybody here, there's some games you should just be like, all right, I'm not going to bet on this game.
Eliminate that one.
All right, I'm not going to bet on that game. That feels like a potential one of those games, unless you know something that, and AJ might, because he's been there, done that with football teams. They might come out and blow the fucking doors off of the Giants. Yeah. All these conversations, Andy Reid saying, I don't know what's going on. Patrick Mahomes saying, we need these moments. Travis Kelce coming. I mean, that is maybe... You know what? I'll put money on it too, AJ. We got the Chiefs in a bounce-back game this weekend. Wow. Hey, the Chiefs are back. X Factor's still fucking gone, but the Chiefs are all the way back. They had a game of silence for X Factor super fandom being over, all right, because he had turned into a monster. Chiefs are back this weekend. I love it, AJ.